Tonight on Giant Impact, we take an in-depth look at the attitudes and perceptions surrounding the American Occupy movement. Much has been said about this huge groundswell of citizen demonstration. Many large articles have been written, and many have weighed in heavily on the potential gravity of this unrest. Cities across the country are now home to gargantuan makeshift tent cities. We visited one to talk with the people there.
We just want the country to go back to the way it was when things really worked.
Like at Woodstock.
We believe that if government would stop coddling big business and focus more on protecting our freedoms, things would be a lot better.
Like at Altamont.
We're demanding that government end the corporate-sponsored war on drugs and make marijuana legal again.
Like in Canada.
We believe that the additional tax benefits and the reduced load on prisons will help boost the economy.
Like in Greece.
What?
Well, marijuana is legal in Greece. And just look at them.
You know what? You are not helping here. Will you just shut up?
You shut up.
Our country suffers under the staggering burden of overcrowded prisons filled with non-violent drug offenders for no good reason except to keep corporate profits high.
Like at Walmart.
Will you please? Bobby came by and left something for you under the sleeping bag. He told me it's seriously chronic.
For reals?
Just go look.
I'll be back.
The important thing about this movement is...
Not everyone agrees that this movement is headed in the right direction. Indeed, there are some who believe it's a gigantic waste of time.
Honestly, I just don't see how these people have time to camp out down there and make all those signs. I can't understand what they're fighting for, and, well, honestly, I just don't know where they find the time.
Well, do you identify yourself as being a member of the 99%?
No, I'm a member of the 100%. That's 100% behind schedule and 100% out of time. So if you'll excuse me.
There are some in society who feel largely threatened and indignant about the whole issue. They say the movement makes demands which ignore their rights.
This whole thing is just a mess. These people are just a pack of socialist cannon fodder who want to take away our rights and make an honest profit.
Lady Steaks does a lot of good in the community. I don't know why people would want to protest us.
Could it be due to the fact that you bought out the Metropolitan Opera and shut down the whole thing to make room for ginormous luxury condos?
That's not fair. Those poor dancers don't have to wear themselves out now.
Yes, some of them were so thin. I think they had a lot of other problems, too.
Well, of course they did. That's what happens when you use drugs.
Oh, my dear, do you think that's how they got so thin?
I'm sure of it, darling.
Some claim that there is a cosmically large missing piece in the movement, namely a set of clear goals and objectives.
Wait, what was the question?
Do you think the movement has a set of clearly defined goals?
I don't know about that, but I do know a lot about clearly defined savings. That's what we have here at Cooper's Super Duper. We have savings on cars, we've got savings on trucks, we've got savings on tractors, lawnmowers, snow blowers, and duck throwers. We've got...
Duck throwers? Okay then. Do you think a movement which lacks clear leadership and hierarchy can last very long?
I don't know much about that, but I do know these sales will not last very long. When these cars are gone, they're gone. I can't offer these kinds of savings forever, you know?
In response to claims that the movement suffers from a Brobdingnagian disconnect from reality, we sought to find some of the more rational voices among those of the cause.
Oh, hi there. You wanted to talk about the Occupy movement? I'm so glad. You see, it was started by a dear and very old friend of mine, Virgil McFarlane. He's a leprechaun, you know. He told me to come down here and keep an eye on all these young people. They need a lot of supervision. Well, I agreed, and here I am. Virgil wanted these young people to have a nice place to stay and some tents to live in, so he sent everybody to the Army surplus store. Some of them wouldn't listen, though, and they only got cardboard boxes. That's the trouble with a lot of young people, you know. They just don't listen. This park is full of magic, and if you don't listen, you can't hear it. When I was a young fairy, I was abducted by a spaceship, and they took me way out into outer space, and they probed me and did all kinds of terrible things. Told me about the US government, and it's been very frightening ever since.
Our search for answers about the Occupy movement simply left us with even more Olympian questions than the ones that got us started. It's clear that nobody knows where this will lead or how long it will last. We, on the other hand, will lead you right here next week when we set out to find the true origin of pink slime. Join us then for another episode of Giant Impact.